Welcome to Small Town Snarks. I'm Joel.
And I'm Miranda. Let's get snarky. Sing for me, my angel of music. Sing for me.
No.
Oh, you can't go higher than that?
No, you can't. It was my mistake. I shouldn't have started as high as I
Yeah.
did. That was the
Start
problem.
a little lower.
Next time.
That was beautiful, though,
Thank
and I'm
you.
impressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been working on that for a really long time.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
training
waiting for
to be Christine.
I really have been waiting for the community theater rights of Phantom of the Opera to come out because I was born to play Christine.
I think people would pay top dollar to see that.
I
I want to be the monkey.
want to be the music box.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a wild show.
Yeah.
I'm just now have visions in my mind of how we can make a chandelier drop and...
Oh, well, that's the next episode.
True. Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's a great one we'll have to save.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing?
I'm tired. How
Me
are you doing?
Too. Falsettos has closed.
Yes.
And
Meryl Streep was there.
Meryl Streep was there opening night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She loved the show.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Yeah. Meryl Streep was there. She really, really enjoyed the show. A very good weekend of shows. I was very, very happy with the run of the shows. We had some great reviews. We had some great audiences that really engaged with the piece, which I loved. And now I just to say, I've got nothing on the horizon at the moment. It's just very, very strange to just like the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's been nonstop since then, but like just things aren't on the horizon at the moment. So
I know. I'm almost to that point as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to it just because I need a break. Not because I haven't been enjoying myself. I'm very proud of the work we've done this season. And I think it is definitely a testament to our
endurance. Yeah.
endurance, discipline, all those things that we've been able to produce quality work with so few people working on it.
For sure.
So it's definitely, we've learned a lot, I would say. I found my line. And I'm going to give myself some personal time next year for sure. But I'm excited because that means we're going to be getting more directors in, which is very exciting. So looking forward to that. And just, I think next season's going to be interesting because it's going to be, it's looking to be a very big variety of different types of theater. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And, can't wait to see.
For sure.
To see what that looks like. So there's a show on that list that I haven't even told you about that is interesting.
I thought I knew everything that was on the list.
No, it was a recent
addition
because I was talking to someone who's interested in directing, and this show, no one does this show, and I think it would be.
Do I know what it is? Will I be excited about it?
I don't know what your reaction's going to be, but I'm interested to see it.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to hear about it. I will say, on a slightly different topic, I saw some theater recently, and I've had some time to go see some theater, which I try to make time for, and doesn't always happen.
You saw falsettos a lot recently.
I did, and not only did I see it, I also directed it. Which
I had a cameo in it.
You did. I also,
so did you.
Yes, yeah. We said some lines. Except I got a lot of comments from friends and family members that were like, "You said you had a cameo. We didn't see you." And I said, "Well,
but
did you hear me?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I should have been out on stage as an umpire.
I just don't know how that would have.
I would have just
worked with both
stood
of us.
in the corner. You and
it's like the same time of the show,
it's so
too.
True. That's so true. But yeah, no, so I saw some theater recently. I saw The Outsiders, the musical, which...
the teenage girls, they love
flocked
that show.
To that show.
They love that show.
I was fascinated just by... It's a very... I don't have a huge affinity for that book.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I've read it. Everybody everywhere has read that book.
Yeah. The movie, at least from what I remember, the movie is good too.
Yeah. They just did some wild things. It was a very Joel style show. Like, minimalism, but with very intentional, like, points to it. Like, I mean, they did some really cool fire things. Spoiler alert, but if you know the story, then you wouldn't be surprised. But, like, some really great fire things, and, like, there was some great fight scenes.
And they, like, found things on the stage to, like, create other things, right? Yeah.
They do. Yeah, I mean, there's a car that's on stage the whole time that turns into, like, the concession stand, and, like, it's a bed, and a whole bunch of other really great things. Yeah, so really, really well done show. But, I just hoping to see some more theater. It just gets me inspired, and then I come back ready to direct and do more fun things when I'm feeling inspired. And
It's been a long time since I've seen something on Broadway.
I keep saying this. I keep saying this. The time is now.
Well, yeah.
Well, actually, the time is really not right now because it's a bad time of year on Broadway, just in general. But new things are coming.
The thing is, whenever you have time off, you fill it with, like, excursions, and I'm really trying to not fill all my time. Because it's so limited. I mean, recently, when I had time, I watched all the Terrifier movies for the first time.
I love that.
That was what I did.
Nothing screams more like relaxing and more like, the least stressful activity you could think of than sitting and watching all the Terrifier movies.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is part of what I enjoy about horror movies is, I mean, the Terrifier movies, in my opinion, they're not scary. They're just kind of gross. But, like, the anticipation and the suspense with horror movies, it makes me so invested in it that I'm not really thinking about other things. So it quiets my brain, which I like. And I just sit there with like a hard cider and some popcorn and my dog, and we watch horror movies, and it's great. So yeah, that's what I was doing. But yeah, I'm still debating trying to get down to Halloween Horror Nights to do the haunted houses. So we'll see.
Terrifier's there. Art the Clown.
You experienced it. Did you do the wet or dry path?
Oh, the wet path.
Yeah. Did you have a poncho or no?
I didn't. No, and honestly, I mean, it wasn't. I'm not as familiar with those films. Like, people who know just horror movies in general are aware of like the most infamous scenes from those movies.
Yeah.
So like I was aware of that stuff going into it, but like, it's like you said, it wasn't really it wasn't a jump scare kind of house. It was like here's all of the horrific things that happen in the movies. You want to see them in person? Here, walk through this house.
I will say, like, I'm not a super like gore person. I'm not a huge fan of it. What I love about the Terrifier movies, though, and also like Evil Dead, is almost all of the gore are practical effects. So like the theater nerd in me is like, oh, like how did they do that and that type of thing. When they're just, using CGI to create the gore, I'm like, all right. Yeah. But you can, at least I personally can appreciate it from an artistic standpoint of like, that's, really cool. And there's like a mixture of puppetry in there as well. And that's part of why I had so much fun on Evil Dead the Musical. It's just like getting to do some of those practical things on stage. Absolutely. It's very cool. And I was like, how gross can we make this?
It is always like the theater, like you said, the theater nerd in me really loves events like Halloween Horror Nights. We've talked about this with like theme parks in general, that like it's just when it's so immersive and you can just go and just be present and like, people are, even if you're just there handing out popcorn, like you're part of this grand show, like you're all part of the storytelling, and it's incredible from that standpoint. But yeah, Horror Nights. 10 out of 10.
I saw a video of them switching out the actors.
Yes.
And it's amazing. Because that's where the theater nerd comes out for sure, because I know we're the same way. We'll see something and we'll be like, okay, cool. Like, you showed it to me how you're supposed to, but like, how did you do it? Show me all of the behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a wild event. Have you ever done?
I've never done it.
You got to change that.
I know.
It's a great
So there was one time, we're so off topic, but, pish posh.
Yeah,
this is our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
We haven't even said what the topic is yet.
No.
This is actually a whole episode on Halloween Horror Nights.
This is just
Surprise.
Miranda and Joel are catching up. We haven't seen each other in 3 weeks.
It's been 3 weeks,
listeners, which is a long time for us.
Yeah. Considering prior to that, we saw each other every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So, my family, when Kyle and I were little, we were at Universal, and we happened to be there at the same time that the event was going on, but they closed the park early for the event. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were leaving, and we were kind of like at the shop near the front getting like a couple more things, and they were projecting like a bunch of scary movie scenes on like the facade of Universal while everyone's waiting to come in. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, my little me, her anxiety kicked in, and I was like, is someone going to pop out and scare me? Like, we need to get out of here before the event starts. I don't want to be stuck here when the event's starting. And so I've never done it, and I don't normally like jump scares. In-person jump scares, but like, I did a pretty intense haunted house freshman year of college, and I'm like, I could do it, and it would be fun. So
the best part about just gonna keep rolling with this topic, but the best thing about it is you go. There's lots of food, things to try, lots of beverages to try. But the nice thing about the houses is you go in through them in like a conga line style.
Yeah.
Which like some people really hate, but like for people like myself who like, I'm also not the biggest fan of jump scares. Like I can appreciate a good jump scare. Like if you can jump out and scare me, I'm like, okay, great. Good on you. But but that's the nice thing is that like you can spot where people are jumping out at, so you can usually see it ahead of time, which makes things easier. So you can kind of prepare yourself for that type of thing too. So
I'm still so mad at you for not doing the Jason house. That was the one house that I wanted to hear about.
My legs were on fire. My entire body was on fire.
It reminds me of when you went to Disneyland for the first time, and you were like, and I had never been. You were like, top of my list are the dark rides. And I was like, yes, tell me all about them. And then you went and you didn't go on any of them.
Yeah. Listeners, if you're going to Disneyland, I highly recommend 2 days at least. Minimum.
Yeah.
Because you could do it all in one day, but you'll be feeling
But should you?
You're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
anyway.
Yeah. Back to
our regular scheduled programming.
So we're here to talk about our next show in our lineup of our run of history of shows. Not our next show.
No, like...
Even though you should all come see Something Rotten.
Yes, everyone come see Something Rotten. Mm-hmm. It's a beast, for sure.
I'm excited for it.
It's so good. I was watching the run-through the other day, and I was like, if we were going into tech right now, I'd be okay.
I love to hear that.
Like,
because you've got a whole nother week. I mean,
we got a whole nother week. And really, like, that week is on me. Like, I just need to get their costumes on them. They need to start practicing their quick changes and, like, get with their props and stuff. But some of the numbers are so good.
It's great.
Like, you got Abby Wynell choreography.
Oh, no notes.
The vocals are incredible. It's just... Yeah, and there's a Pippin cameo that I can't wait for you to see.
I'm so excited for that. You told me about that the other day, and I love that. I'm guessing it's in a musical.
You're gonna love it. I'm not telling you anything about it, but you're gonna love it. So, in 2022, The Odd Couple.
2022.
The Odd Couple, the female version.
The female version of The Odd Couple. The lesser known, but equally as engaging.
It's the same story, just gender bent.
Yeah.
And I'm yawning. Sorry, listeners. It's been a long year. I was going to say week.
That's okay. I referred to myself still in a free fall earlier today. So.
Pippin was this year. I just like to point that out. It feels like
it was yesterday and also 3 years ago.
3 years ago,
at the same time. Yeah.
Anywho.
I love how we use that as a marker. Just like to keep us humble. Pippin was
well, I not even just to keep us humble, but like look at how much we've done. Like it is crazy. Anyway.
Yep. And I've got the battle scars to prove it.
Yeah. So Odd Couple female version.
Yes. How did the show present itself? I mean, it started the season.
So 2022 was like our first real full season.
Yes.
Of shows. Because 2021 was the first year that we did multiple shows, but we started in the summer, so we did like half a year of shows.
Yes.
2022, we started full seasons. And we knew we wanted to have a variety. Mm-hmm. And Odd Couple seemed like a good choice. People were familiar with it. It was a play. We were doing it earlier in the year. Smaller show, smaller budget. And the female version kind of seemed like the obvious way to go because we just had a lot of women in our program at that point.
Yeah.
So we kind of decided on that. And I remember when I would post about it on social media, I actually got some, like, feedback from people, not people I knew, but just people on social saying, why do you feel the need to specify that it's the female version?
It's literally the title.
And that's what I said. I was like, it's the title of the show. Mm-hmm. But they were kind of pushing back on that. And I will say, you know, the artwork, like, for that show was, like, pink and stuff, you know, trying to make it clear that it was the female version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at the poster across the room right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, why can't it just be The Odd Couple? Well, because it's not The Odd Couple. It was rewritten for different characters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was The Odd Couple female version. And I do have some fond memories of this show, and we'll also get more in depth in it when we interview our good friend Daryl, who was in the show, who can give some more behind the scenes. I did not personally direct it, but I was there for quite a bit of it, and have some stories to share for sure.
So I mean, we've got so much to unpack just about the selection of the show and the show itself, but like, what are your personal opinions on Neil Simon? Because I have an affinity for playwrights that, like, can find humor in everyday life. And I feel like he's very good at that. He's very good at, like, the social commentary, you know, having those types of conversations. But I'm just like, The Odd Couple is just not, I'm going to be perfectly frank, not my favorite play. And also I had never seen the female version before prior to this production. And I just, you know, it's all right. It's good. Yeah. Just not my favorite, like, cup of tea.
I think it's difficult, and, you know, as more and more time goes by, it's going to be harder and harder to produce Neil Simon's work because he was he notoriously went through a lot mentally, and I think part of how he communicated that was putting jokes in his plays that pertain to mental health stuff at times. Like, there was a self-harm joke in The Odd Couple, and our culture has changed so much where, like, we don't make those jokes anymore, but it is interesting just to explore kind of that side of Neil Simon, because he was personally going through that stuff and wanted to joke about it, but if you don't know that, if you don't have that backstory, you just show up and see the show and you're like, wow, that was in poor taste. It's like what we talk about with shows like Anything Goes or Grease or whatever.
Product of its time.
It's a product of its time, which doesn't mean it's not worth producing, but you have to be intentional about it because of where we are at now as a culture. I remember I was talking to a family member about Avenue Q when we were talking about doing it as a company. And they had a really good point, which they were like, well, do it soon because it's gonna kind of get canceled in like the next few years. And I think that's a valid point. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it still has enough value where people feel the need to produce it. But whenever you're pushing the boundaries as an artist, your work it gets dated because people look back on it and they're like, oh, well, now we say this or now we do that. So I feel like that's the case with a lot of Neil Simon's work, but he's got some great stuff too.
Oh yeah,
he's definitely. And the female version of The Odd Couple, I do appreciate it because the fact is there are not that many plays out there where you have full scenes of just a couple women or three women or whatever talking. That just really doesn't exist very much in theater. So from that perspective, I definitely appreciated it because it provided a very unique opportunity for our performers to get to work on that.
Yeah, I agree with you on all of those statements. I think what's really interesting, and we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but this idea of like theater is supposed to be, theater at its best is when it's, helping to address or have conversations that people wouldn't typically have, or handling or addressing social commentaries. And I feel like that is very much so the case with, Neil Simon shows of like, it's a timely piece, but it also has references that are not only dated, but just not the general, the mindset and the general consciousness about mental health has changed so much over the years. So that perspective, you do have to handle it tactfully and understand and, I always like to say sometimes with theater, you have to keep in mind when you're seeing a show about, topics like that or that make references that are dated that, sometimes you have to do a little bit more research, or you might want to do more research to understand the piece or understand where it's coming from or what the perspective was of the person who was writing it. And I feel like that's very much so the case with Neil Simon's work of like, when you know his backstory and you understand the time period of the show and when it was written and how it was written and who it was written by, it changes the perspective of the show completely. So it makes you have to be an active audience member, which is also, from my perspective, I always love that. I think it, pushes you to want to know more.
Well, and this is, a topic that I'm sure we'll get into more as we continue this podcast. But you and I are both of the mindset that theater isn't and shouldn't just be a tool for entertainment.
Oh, yes.
There
100%.
are some shows where they serve that purpose, where it's just entertainment, and that, that also fills a need, and I think that's great, and I think it's great to mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
Something Rotten's a pretty fluffy show.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with fluffy shows. But at the same time, if you're a regular theater goer and you see something that, offends you,
yeah,
it's not like, oh, they shouldn't be putting that on the stage, or that's not what theater should be like. I would love to see a show that offends me, and then, because then I'm like thinking about it,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, getting people worked up starts conversations, and we had this talk with Falsettos as well when we were talking with the cast about how to market it and kind of how we wanted to, what areas we wanted to lean into in terms of how we were presenting it to the community. And one of the things I said was, I hope people show up who don't know what the show's about. And I hope people get offended, because you know what? That starts a conversation.
Yes.
And ultimately that's how people grow and change their minds. This is a tangent, but I was listening to this podcast about conflict and relationships, like not just like romantic relationships, but any type of relationship. And relationships only grow when you get through conflict together. Yeah. So if there's no conflict, there's no growth. Which I think is important, as artists, thinking about like, what are the areas we want to push? Yes. That is ultimately going to lead to growth. Even if people disagree, it's still getting them to think about things in a unique way. So, I think, canceling certain shows or playwrights is, it's a difficult conversation, because I understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, I think it's good to be challenged sometimes. Yeah.
Well, and to add to that comment, but also to bring us back to Odd Couple, I have found recently, and I think you and I, this is one of my favorite conversations you and I have on a regular basis. Yeah. It's like being attuned to what is happening in theater. What what are the new trends? What are the new shows? What are people engaged with? That type of thing. And I think it's important when you're in this type of setting to have that understanding. But my favorite thing from the statement that you just made is that the last couple of years, some of the most compelling and engaging theater that I have seen have been straight plays. And I mean, I think we touched briefly on this with Puffs, but specifically with The Odd Couple, and shows like it, straight plays, people aren't as engaged with. They don't have the big flashy name. Like when you put Mamma Mia up on a wall, the people flock. I mean, people see that show and they're like, oh my gosh, Dancing Queen. I'm the Dancing Queen. Yep. I'm coming to see Mamma Mia because I want to know which of the fathers is actually Sophie's father.
Yep, and I'm going to stand up and dance in the aisle.
I'm going to stand up and I'm going to enjoy that mega mix. And again, it comes back to that statement you made at the beginning of there is a place for happy musicals and, joyful, just, I don't want to use the term fluff, but it's a great term to describe it. It is a, heartwarming, you have a great time, you enjoy it. There is a place for that, but some of the most compelling theater and theater that has really made me think in the last several years has been straight plays. And I feel like if people really love, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I really love theater, but I haven't seen a straight play in a really long time. This is me telling you need to go see some straight plays. And if you want recommendations, you let me know. Because it's theater at its best. There's nothing to hide behind with a straight play. You've got your lines and you've got a set. You don't have, no dance breaks. There's no... Absolutely. There's no 11 o'clock number. It's just actors giving their full craft in their full energy.
And sometimes it's good to go into a show blind.
Yes.
You know, and I hear you, and I think part of why, especially with Broadway right now, we're seeing a lot of fluffy shows. I think part of it is just people don't want to take risks with musicals because they're so expensive.
Oh, that is a big thing. That's been a conversation even prior to the pandemic. That was a big thing of like, people are spending a lot of money traveling, especially, I mean, not even just shows in New York. I mean, tours have also gotten really expensive to this point, but like, people aren't spending as much money on theater because not only has the cost of living gone up, but also the cost of seeing theater has gone up.
Yep.
I mean, we can talk about a specific show. We're way off track now, but we can talk about, you know, there's a certain show where a former cast member who just returned to this production on Broadway after 10 years. And I don't know if you've heard about this. It's Hamilton, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But their new highest ticket price is the highest box office set ticket price in the history of Broadway right now. And it's $1,500 for a premium ticket. Which, like, you think about people paying that amount of money and they're not able to go and see other things. They're focusing, you know, and I think that 1,500 number is right. It's very close to that if it's not exactly. But, you know, people are spending that kind of money and then they're not going to explore other things, or, you know, they don't want to take risks. They want to see something that they know. They want to see something like Hamilton. They want to see something like Mamma Mia because it is lighthearted. They know what to expect and they're not risking, you know, money. But even then, you know, some of those smaller shows, you can get some cheap tickets.
And even just producing them.
Yeah.
Like people are producing crowd pleasers in terms of musicals because it's so expensive. Yeah. And they want to make their money back. So
this is a soapbox I could stand on for a year and just scream it from.
This is our challenge to you, listener. Go see a show you haven't heard of before. And just go in blind and see how you feel about it. And you might not like it, and that's okay. But
if you need recommendations, I have all of them.
Yeah.
I definitely have all of them.
And there are great musicals, falsettos, for example.
This is not me. I love a musical as much as the next person. I love a musical.
But that's, you know, the perfect example of a musical that does take risks. So, go see something different. Switch it up. Switch it up.
There's more to theater than your standard theater shows.
Yeah, there's a lot of good theater out there.
There is.
The Odd Couple.
One other thing before we get deep into the conversation of The Odd Couple. Wanted to ask you, have you ever had a fun roommate experience? Or like, you know, I feel like that's just pinnacle to the story. So I just was curious if you've ever had a really good roommate experience or a fun roommate story.
Yeah. I mean, I was very lucky in that my roommate in college was awesome. Like, she was great. We were good friends. We roomed together for 2 years.
Okay.
But yeah, we still talk periodically. She was in my wedding. Like, she's great. I do remember there was one. Well, there's a couple of stories. One in particular. She had not very long hair, but she had long hair, and I guess the irony of this now is my husband does this now because he has long hair, and it just drives me batty. Love him, but it drives me batty. So in order to not clog the drain in the shower, she would, like, when hair would come out in her hand, she would just put it on the shower wall. And, like, it got to the point...
If you're just listening to this, I just cringed, and it... Yeah.
It got to the point where, like, almost the whole wall was covered in hair.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like, I remember my mom came to visit one time, and she went in there, and she's like, Miranda, you have to say something. And I was like, it's pretty bad.
That I can't think, well, I can't think of a worse experience, but like, I can't with hair.
To be clear, I have issues with hair too.
Mm-hmm.
To be clear, my husband does not put hair on the shower wall. It just, our shower drains slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there'll still be in water, like a little bit of water when you get out. And then when it fully drains, I'll just, like, see hair at the bottom. And it just annoys me.
Nope.
But to intentionally put it on the wall and then, like, not take, like, a paper towel or something and just wipe it off, I was like, I'm dying.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Now, I will say that was an upgrade because that was the year we had our own shower. Because the first year in college, it was a public restroom that the whole hall shared and public showers. So you had to wear your shower shoes and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And there was some nasty stuff in there.
Oh,
but
I believe it.
Yeah, the second year it was hair that was happening. Overall though, she was great. We actually we roomed together we were roommates for 3 years.
So that wasn't a deal breaker.
It wasn't a deal breaker. The third year we went through quite the experience because our building was infested with rats.
Oh.
Yeah.
That would be a really great play to write about.
We didn't know it when we moved in. And this was the first year I had my cat Clyde with me too. And he would kind of hang out in my room, and I didn't let him roam the full apartment because sometimes, my roommate would just like leave the door open for someone or whatever, sure. And I didn't want him to get any funny ideas. But at one point, we had been going through like the lower cabinets.
Yeah.
And there was a thing of cake mix down there. And something had fully eaten through the entire bottom of it. And then I also had a thing of Reese's cups. Okay. And the whole thing was
No,
eaten.
Absolutely not.
And I was like, okay. So I called someone, and they came out, and they looked, and there were droppings under the sink, and they were like, that's not a mouse, that's a rat. So then they were like, contact your landlord and we can come out and like put traps and stuff. Contacted the landlord. They didn't do anything.
Of course.
Literally nothing. And I remember we had, we would do like puzzles in the living room. And my roommate had left like a wrapped candy on the chair.
Yeah.
And we saw that wrapper, like candy gone in the middle of the floor the next day, and that's when we realized they've breached. They're out of the cabinets. They are roaming. Oh
no.
And our neighbors across the hall, they had a Great Dane. And they had a bag of dog food in the closet, and the rats had eaten all of the dog food.
Oh my gosh, these were giant rats.
They were giant. The day I moved out,
yeah,
I got a text from her because she was moving out just a little bit later.
Yeah.
That one of the rats had been trapped under the sink. And her boyfriend at the time took it out, but apparently it was massive.
I believe it.
So
yeah, it was feasting.
And that's one of my biggest fears are rats and mice.
Yeah.
That they just freak me out. So
it's the little hands.
God.
Yeah.
It's not the little, it's the tails. That's
yeah.
what differentiates them from like hamsters.
Yeah.
Do you have a fun roommate story?
I do have a fun roommate story. So before I even say it, I was an RA for 3 years of my 4 years of college.
Of course you were.
If that gives you any indication as to my roommate experiences. Yeah, so my freshman year of college, moved in. It was pretty great. We did the whole, we met online and became Facebook friends, and, it was great, and got to school, and I want to say, colleges always have those weird breaks. There's always that like fall break before Thanksgiving where you're like home for like a week. Like the timing, it's just a weird like middle of October break. So we went home for that fall break, and again everything was fine. And I came back right after that, and like within a couple of days, I went to class one day. I came back, and my roommate was seated at his desk. And he had two, like, containers. Little, like, vial-sized containers. I was like, what are those? And he was like, oh, they're my pet Black Widow spiders. And I said, I'm sorry, they're your what? He said, yeah, they're my Black Widow spiders.
Yeah, don't you have some?
Yeah, exactly. He was a biology major. Let me, clarify that. He wasn't like, he wasn't in like accounting or something. Like there was some like connection there, but I obviously was shocked. I was like, you have two Black Widow spiders that are now living in our room. That is really uncomfortable.
And it was one room, right?
One room, yeah. It was like a traditional dorm room.
Yeah.
And then he made the comment to me. We were all like, it was the two of us and like the people that lived across the hall we were all like really close. Close. They were in the room with us, and he jokingly, which I hope jokingly, I'm still here to tell the tale, so I guess it's okay. But he said, yeah, haven't you ever heard that thing, that statement that colleges say that, when your roommate dies, you get an automatic 4.0? Well, Miranda, I heard that. There was a staircase right next to my room, and I excused myself. I didn't, like, run out of the room or anything. I just, like, excused myself. Went outside and called every person that I knew. Every single one. I said, my roommate is trying to kill me. My roommate has two Black Widow spiders. Not a single person that I told was like, yeah, they're just they're just Black Widow spiders. Like, it's fine.
Are they actually poisonous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And I think if I don't know for certain, but my understanding is if you get bitten by one and you don't get medical treatment, it could kill you. I don't think it's like an immediate like lethal thing, but like you gotta seek medical attention if you get bitten. So I remember calling everybody I knew, and like I remember calling my family, and they're like, okay, do we need to like call the president of the school? Like, what do we need to do?
Right.
I'm like, you don't need to do that, but like this is a problem.
Right.
So ended up, we made amends. He got rid of the spiders. And that, that incident wasn't even enough to get me to move out of that room, which was ironic to me. But it wasn't until a month later that I walked into the room and he was playing with praying mantises on his desk, which, praying mantises, as cool as they are, just not the right
Aren't they
place.
also endangered?
They are,
too?
yeah.
So you're not supposed to like mess with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was playing with two praying mantises on his desk, and as soon as I saw that, I said to him, okay, I can't do this anymore, and that's when I moved out and got a new roommate, and he's a nice enough guy, but I determined after that first experience that I was good. I was really good,
Yeah.
Really, really sad.
That's intense. College is tough because going from having like your own space to sharing a small space with a stranger, that's tough. Like, and I liked my roommate, but after the first year, I was like, yeah, we're upgrading to a dorm where we have doors in our own bedrooms because it's just like, I need my space. I need my alone time sometimes. Yeah, wow.
Well, and it always made me laugh from that point forward, especially when I became an RA, because I was an RA. My first year, I was an RA for upperclassmen and transfer students. And then my last 2 years, I was an RA for freshmen. And it always made me laugh whenever somebody would come to me with like a roommate issue. And I'm like, I don't want to minimize this because it's obviously something that you're trying to process and deal with.
Sure.
But it could be a lot worse, and let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it always gave perspective in those conversations moving forward. And fortunately, since then, every roommate experience that I've had has been a great one. I mean, lived with friends and Florida and
yeah,
friends here, and,
it just occurred to me, I guess being married is kind of like having a permanent roommate.
Yeah. Yeah, you just signed like a lifetime lease. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, we have shared so many stories that we are at the end of this episode.
I have 2 more things to share
Oh,
from
do
Odd
you?
Couple before we wrap up.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't worry, listeners, we'll get more into Odd Couple when we talk to Daryl. One of my stories was, well, actually, okay, 3 things. I was at the Dollar Tree getting props.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another tangent we can go on, but I'll keep it short. People sometimes, quote unquote, judge me for being a stickler about budgets.
Yeah.
Any business you ever run has, or have ever been a part of has a budget, first of all.
Yeah, they like to stay in business, and money is money. Yeah.
At this time, with the company, we were paying a monthly rental fee to the venue we were at.
Mm-hmm.
And we had only done, after the pandemic, we did Puff's Little Shop Godspell.
Yeah.
And then it was Odd Couple.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting props for Odd Couple. And I literally, for like 4 months, had to pay fees on the company credit card because I couldn't pay our bill in full because the company didn't have enough money.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking like $500. Like the company did not have $500. And I mean, we're not rich by any means, but looking at where we are at now and the fact that we can pay our bills pretty comfortably and continuously do shows, we can have a loss on a show and we're not terrified, you know. It really puts into perspective, like at that time, and that was just 3 years ago, we were scraping by, like, completely.
Yeah.
So, I do remember that, and I was like, I can't wait till we get this ticket money in. And Odd Couple, it didn't sell super well because it's a small show. It was our first time trying to do a show at that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fine with that. I knew it wasn't going to bring in a huge crowd.
Right.
Well, someone's, like, grandma showed up
to
get a ticket, and they got a ticket. And I remember them walking in to the theater, and it's a big theater there.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, I'm glad I got here early so I could find a seat. And I was just like, F you, lady. But just kind of those moments, like those growing pains were happening during this show.
Yeah.
And another fun anecdote I have, there's a moment in the show where one of the characters throws a coffee mug and breaks it.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And it had to be broken every time, so I had to buy multiple of them. And I remember looking at Jacob, and I was like, every time you see that coffee cup break, I want you to just picture $1.25 flying through the air. And he was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Odd Couple.
Yeah, not a whole lot of stories. I mean, I will just say real quick, I was not really involved with Odd Couple, but there was a rehearsal where the director wasn't able to make it, and you weren't able to be there.
Yes.
And they were on the stage. It was a run through of the show. Like, it was like, I don't know if it was Tech Week or Tech Week was coming up, and you had reached out to me and you were like, hey, here's the situation. They just need somebody to be there to watch the run through.
Yeah.
You know, take some notes, X, Y, and Z. And I was like, sure, why not? I'll come see the show. We'll see what it's like. And it was a really great experience. It was nice to see like that type of show on stage and to like be able to take notes, especially as, you know, we always try and have someone with an outside perspective come in and see the show before it opens to just give their feedback. And it was kind of fun in that sense because, you know, it was just the actors and myself. And like, I could just watch and just take notes and be like, this is what I saw. These were my thoughts. And it was nice from the perspective of like, nobody was there to give me like a setup. It was just it's happening and here it is. And it's just a really unique experience that I remember from that show. It's just being able to be there and just getting to take it in before an audience.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you think we would get along as roommates?
I would think so. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. I mean, especially when shows are going on, we're talking and we're around each other all the time, and we haven't
But I think
cracked yet.
I will say if a show was going on and we went back to the same house, I think there might be problems. We need like the 6 hours away and then come back.
Exactly. Refresh and then, come back to it.
But I agree. I think we would get along just fine.
Yeah. I don't think there would be any coffee mugs being thrown.
Maybe.
All right, Snarkies. That's another one in the books.
It is. That's the two
Get ready,
for
because
today.
Daryl's coming up.
Yep.
Just around the corner.
Buckle up. Chairs will be thrown.
Mugs will be thrown.
Mugs will be thrown.
There will be lots of beef.
There's going to be lots of beef, according to Daryl. So, all right. We'll talk to y'all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for getting snarky with us. We'll see you later.
See you next time.